Hi, my name is Veronica Caicedo. I am the executive director of the One Festival as well as the founder. Today, this very moment, I have Jeff Oppenheim in Superheroes and Other Men. It's written and performed by you.
It is, yeah.
And it's directed by Byron Saunders.
Our executive producer is Alibe Hamacher.
Tell us what this piece is about.
Well, it's really a personal journey, and it's taking place at multiple times in my life. At this age, looking back, remembering this journey quest that I went on, discovering this ultimate threshold of manhood, which is fatherhood.
Uh-oh, panic sets in, right? Realization, oh no, what have I done? And meanwhile, we're trying to be this pillar of support for Our Lady. Oh, this is wonderful news, honey. Meanwhile, it's the first time I've ever realized that father is spelled fat-her. Oh.
That calls a lot of us guys out right in that moment right there, because there's nothing that proves us more in those moments.
You wait until your father gets home. Cusp.
We've got to be there for the baby. We've got to be there for our gal.
See, I was building this 13-foot tree. It had 4 branches, each 3 feet long. And on each branch, there were 6 wooden cut leaves, and then a dozen hand-dyed cloth leaves just dangling down. In the center, I had built a branch that was by design to hold the focusing mobile and the music box. Oh. And then on the walls behind it, I was in the process of painting several trees on the wall to complete this beautiful nursery. My wife seemed worried. She was worried that maybe the drapes wouldn't be done in time. Maybe the tree wasn't sturdy enough. Maybe none of this would happen the right way. And suddenly, I was left thinking, worrying too, well beyond the confines of the nursery, realizing that, well, now I was married to this 9 to 5 job. And simply so that I could be free from 6 to 9 a.m. the next morning with a rather unsteady schedule of whatever would be needed for our baby. Suddenly now I was having to learn about something called the 529 and figure out how to subtract it from a salary that already had a 401k coming out of it. Suddenly, I was beginning to understand the ultimate measure of a man.
It really also goes to that quest that we have from boyhood to manhood of looking for, well, superheroes, we call it as kids.
What is it about us boys? Why are we so obsessed with these super action heroes? I mean, so much so, look, that if you like Superman and I like Spider-Man, which I do, oh, you and I could end up as best friends scrapping over which one could kick the other one's butt.
But really role models in the male community, and sometimes that's desperately hard to find.
Now, Bob, that was his name. Not Robert, not Bobby, Bob. He stood 6 foot tall. Solid, muscular guy. Wavy, sandy, blonde hair. And it was complete with one of those Robert Redford, sideways smiles. And, well, I think he was like an uncle or an uncle by marriage or just a guy you wanted to be in your family because more than anything, he was just there for me, He would often tell me that I reminded him of himself when he was my age. What? How could this be? I mean, I was this skinny, scrawny kid. I had a concave chest, chicken shoulders, I was timid and shy. I knew I wanted to talk to girls, but I didn't dare do it. And here was this hunk of a guy telling me that I was like him? I mean, he was cool. No, he was beyond cool. He was a super action hero.
Who are these guys that have that super action hero ability or real guy attributes, gentlemanly attributes?
As a young man working in a family friend's restaurant, it was owned by a beautiful actress friend of my mother's. She was lovely. Her and her German husband ran the place. And she, when she wasn't here as a hostess, she would be home taking care of their 2 beautiful young daughters. But still there, she would be baking fresh-made desserts that always seemed like the perfect complement to what always seemed like a homemade meal, especially when her husband, Wolfie, was in the kitchen. Now, Wolfie could be found anywhere in the restaurant, taking care of whatever was needed. In fact, he was the color and the character of the place. Yeah, good evening, ladies. Yeah, welcome. Tonight is a good night. It's Wolfie night. Now, you buy one, you get to go home with Wolfie. I'm Wolfie.
And what is their kryptonite? Because we all have it.
But that anger, it was a storm inside of him. And, well, I was a young teenage boy coming into his own. And I remember one day, I don't know what he said to me, but I decided that was the day I was going to stand up to him. Yeah. I muttered something under my breath like he wasn't my father anyway. When he turned, he came back in that room as if to give me a second chance, a chance to back down. And I made that stubborn male decision to hold my ground and potentially pay the price, and oh, I did. He leaned into me and pushed me deeper into the bed, and whether he was slapping me or punching me, I don't know to this day. I must have fought back, and I must have landed a few, because the next thing I know, he picked me up by my belt and my shirt, and he hurled me to the floor with a thud that knocked the wind out of me and some of my resolve. And when my mother came in, she had to throw herself between the two of us because his hands were around my throat. Now, that kind of kryptonite I don't want for my kids.
So how do I pull from the good and push away the bad to try and be the best gentleman I can be in a gender complex era?
Oh, don't go all quiet on me, ladies. You know you have all asked this question. Not even if you're a mother. No. You've asked it at various times in your own life when you've run up to us at various stages of our maturity, right? You have sat there and looked at us and gone, what is wrong with you boys? You fellas, you guys, you boys, you men, you sundry old farts. Oh. And once again, you women are right. Because I've been asking that of myself, of my own actions. I've been asking that every day I read the newspaper, watch the news. What is wrong with our boys? And suddenly, I know what to write. And my pen hits the pages of my 5x8 tan graph paper lined generic moleskin notebook, and I write, the art and practice of being a modern gentleman in a gender complex world.
Superheroes and other men.
I'm going to fly off now and rescue that fair maiden. Goodbye.
Okay.